Good morning, thank you for tuning in again and welcome to those of you who are new to my channel. In this week's Whip Around the Garden, I'll chat a bit about the difference between purple and white eggplants. Also, I want to give you an update on the edibles growing in containers, plus lots more. But let's first start off with a perennial that's in full flower at the moment. This gorgeous Mexican marigold has been here for about 3 years. Originally it was only about a foot tall, but now it's a monster. It can get even taller than this, up to about 6 foot. It's a native to southern Arizona and Mexico, has the most beautiful aroma to us humans. However, deers don't find it very pleasant, so it's a good plant to grow to deter them if they are a garden pest in your area. I believe that the key to my success in growing this plant is pruning. So after it flowers, I chop it back by about 1/3. And when I say chop, I mean it. No careful pruning. I just cut it like I would a hedge. I personally like to make tea with it. I find it very calming. We've had a bit of an incident over here in this part of the garden, which is along the side of the house. This archway has collapsed. So it has this Pandoria growing on it, which is an Australian native climber. It grew quite a lot over the last 6 months, and I think what's after happening is this archway just wasn't able to handle the weight of it. And I don't think it really helped that I had this very vigorous kiwana vine growing over the top of it as well. You can see down here that there's a lot of these club-shaped kiwana fruit, and they're each individually quite heavy, so I think added up all together it really has just weighed down this entire structure. The good news is the roots of these two plants appear to still be in the ground, so I've decided to leave everything the way it is for the moment until these kiwanas ripen and are ready to harvest, which should only be a couple of weeks. At that stage I'll be able to pull out this plant, getting a bit of help to prop this up, and then I'm going to put some of that construction bar, what's it called, Reno bar, I can't remember what it's called. I'll put that in underneath this, and that will be a lot sturdier and stronger to support everything that's going on here. The radishes and turnips which I have in these containers are going absolutely nuts. I got around to thinning out this one here, which is the Japanese turnip. I'll probably have to give it another thinning, but at the moment I'm pretty happy with it. The spacing is fairly decent. I'm a bit hesitant to do a complete thinning at the moment, just in case it gets attacked by slugs and snails. A couple of days ago I sowed some carrot seeds in this container. They are Paris Market. They're roughly about the size of a ping pong ball. They are a French heirloom variety that grows well in shallow soil, so perfect for a container. I just wanted to say that if you are a gardener growing in a smaller space, there are so many options out there for edible crops that do well in containers. So you remember here I've got a couple of turnips. These are smaller Japanese varieties. Of course, radishes are well known for growing in pots and containers. You can also do cucumbers, tomatoes, even melons and watermelons. If you just do a bit of research, you'd be surprised at how many different types there are there that can grow in little pots and containers. I've been working on this area during the week. I've been clearing out all of the dead plants. So remember I had a whole load of zinnias here? Well, they're all in this big pile, ready for me to collect the seeds. Here's one seed head that I could spend quite a bit of time dividing up and removing the seeds. But to make life a little bit easier for me at the moment, I'm just going to pop this entire thing into a brown paper bag. I've stored seeds like this before with lots of different types of flowers, and it's always worked out for me. Just the key is to make sure that you put it in a really dry, cool location. The paper bags are ideal. You can also use old jars too. When I was clearing out this area, I discovered some of these white eggplants. I can't find the tag, so I'm not sure of its exact name. There are quite a few differences between the purple and white varieties of eggplants, or aubergines as some of us may call them. White eggplants tend to have thinner skin, a bit denser, less bitter and a lot more seeds. And apparently the reason why we don't see more white eggplants being sold in supermarkets is because they can bruise very easily in transportation due to their thinner skin. All the better reason to try growing them at home so we can try them ourselves. The girls are following me around again. They always think I have food for them. There's Autumn in there. I've been thinking about what I can do in this garden bed. So, oh, look at the girls. They get in everywhere. So this here is a beautiful salvia. I'll see if I can find the tag and put it up on the screen. First time growing this. I bought the plant back in spring. I have to do a little bit of research on it. I may have to cut it completely back, but I was thinking, what could I put into this section to make it look really colourful during winter? I usually rely on pansies, violas and calendulas as well. I might clear out the bit along the front here and just do a whole border of them. Still not quite sure at the moment. I'll have to figure that out. I potted up a lot of those seedlings which I showed you last week. Here I've got some kale and rainbow chard. Actually, there's one thing I want to show you with the rainbow chard over here on this particular one. Do you notice there at the base of the stem how it's starting to turn brown and shrivel up? There's a closer look. So this can be caused from a variety of different fungal diseases where it just rots pretty much. It's very common with seedlings and something to keep an eye out for. What I try and do to prevent this from happening is I try and make sure that when I do have my little seedlings, I don't have the soil too damp. I usually find when that happens, I do get a lot of casualties like this one here. Really, there's not much I can do about this, so I'm going to have to just pull it out and chuck it in the compost pile because this poor little plant is never going to amount to anything. I don't think I showed you these ones last week because I was in such a rush. So I also bought some of these mini broccoli and mini cauliflower. Although I do have seedlings growing in the garden, it's always good to have backups because you just never know what will happen with, you know, the combination of the chickens, slugs, snails, birds and everything else. It's always good to have a few spares just in case I need to pop them in here and there, and if I don't use them I can always give them away. I am crossing my fingers so much with this larkspur. I try and grow it every year. I think I grew a couple of plants well maybe 2 years ago, but usually what tends to happen with these is they disappear overnight. I don't know, they must be irresistible to garden pests because one minute they're there, the next minute they're not, and I'm really hoping that maybe this year I'll have a bit of success with them. So I ended up buying these ones here. They were all very closely sewn together, so what I did was I just picked out 5 of the best looking ones and pinched out the others, and hopefully even if I get like maybe 2 or 3 of these to grow to maturity, I'll be really delighted. When I was potting up the Johnny Jump Up violas, I ended up just doing one of the punnets because I wanted to leave the other one to show you what it looks like. You can see there it's got a really nice healthy root system and the plants are looking very happy. When I first got into gardening and I'd buy punnets of violas like this, I have to say I would find that root system very intimidating. I would get nervous that I would kill the plants when dividing them up. But in general, violas are very hardy, tough plants. You don't need to do anything particular. You don't need to tease these roots apart. I literally just pull it into 6 sections. Let me do a little demonstration to show you. So all I do is I check to see where the plants are and I literally just pull it apart like this. And again, until I end up with 6 individual little seedlings. Really is as simple as that, and then they're ready to put into a larger pot. Another little tip is if you do notice any flowers, I like to just pinch those flowers off so that the seedling puts all its energy into establishing new roots rather than the energy into any blooms. Here's the weekly check-in with our orange tree. It's just ripening more each week. Well, thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. I post a video every Friday. There will be a lot of changes going on in here now over the next couple of months, as you may be able to tell, because there's a lot of plants that need to be cleared out and get this garden ready for spring 2021. Okay, stay safe. See you next Friday.